Is it really possible for a night owl to become an early morning bird? The answer is yes. My name is Rachel, and today I'm going to share with you 5 tips to wake up earlier, even if you're a night owl. And if you hang around long enough, I will be sharing an extra bonus tip towards the end. I've been a night owl for as long as I can remember. I hated waking up for school when I was growing up, and I hated waking up for early college classes, so I scheduled them in the afternoon. However, I made the unfortunate discovery that I am actually more productive in the very early morning hours. And by early morning hours, I mean 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning. So, as a night owl, I needed to figure out a way to wake up earlier. A couple years ago, I made the switch right away. I went from waking up at 10 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. in a day. A really quick change, really abrupt, and while I kept it going for about 3 months, I eventually crashed and burned because my body still wasn't used to it. So when I decided to make that change and start waking up earlier, I decided to do it over a longer amount of time. Towards the end of last year, I decided I wanted to start waking up earlier again because I was getting more done in the morning than I was in the evening. So I set a schedule. I decided every 2 weeks I was going to wake up 15 minutes earlier, both on the weekdays and the weekends. I started out by waking up around 7 a.m. Now I'm waking up at 4:15 on the weekdays and 4:45 on the weekends. I try to keep about half an hour break between the weekends and the weekdays so that I feel like I'm sleeping in, even if I'm not, and I'm not. I want to point out 2 very important things that I did that have worked for me so far. The first being, I didn't force early nights on myself. I went to bed when my body was tired, but I woke up when my alarm went off. And the second rule was no naps. Because at least in the beginning, napping while you're trying to reset your sleep schedule is detrimental to when your body wants to go to sleep naturally at night. But don't get me wrong, I still love napping. I find that when I combine those 2 things, my body starts to get tired around 8 p.m., which is pretty good because then I can be in bed by around 9 o'clock and soundly asleep by 9:30, which is great timing when you're waking up at 4:15 the next morning. My goal, if you're curious, is to eventually be waking up at 4 a.m. on the weekdays and 4:30 on the weekends, which will happen in about a week and a half because I just changed my sleep schedule to what it is now. Now what you've actually been waiting for are my 5 main tips plus a secret bonus one towards the end that will help you wake up earlier in the morning. The first one being, you need to know why you're waking up. And I know a lot of people have said this. I am one of the people who have watched countless how to wake up videos on YouTube, and all of them, for the most part, will say you need to have a good reason why. I am the type of person who doesn't always have a good reason why, and I will tell you that on the days that I don't have a good reason to wake up, I am much more likely to turn off my alarm and go back to sleep. You need to ask yourself, is there something I want to achieve by waking up earlier? Are there hobbies that I need to have the quiet times in the morning to do, especially if you're a mom or a parent? Or if you're like me and you live with other people, it might be easier to get certain focus-driven work done in the morning when nobody else is walking around making noise and you can concentrate better. My dad's office is right above my bedroom, and if I wake up around 8, he's already on a conference call, and it makes it really hard to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing. Not that that's a problem, I love you, Dad. This is so important because without a solid reason for why you're actually getting up early, it's too easy to turn off the alarm and go back to your sweet, loving bed, especially when it's winter and it's freezing cold in your house. Tip number 2, figure out how many hours of sleep you need and then count backwards to figure out when you need to go to sleep. I personally need somewhere between 5 to 8 hours, so I try to go to bed anywhere from, if I'm lucky, and don't judge me for this, 7:30. I know that's super early, but guys, I'm waking up at 4. I'd really like to go to bed around there. Or at latest 9:30, 9:45. Stop judging me. Along with this tip, starting an hour to 2 hours beforehand, I try to turn off my technology. My phone goes on downtime, which closes off the apps that I would naturally go to waste away my night hours instead of sleeping. Along with that is tip number 3, which is start to unwind about an hour before you want to go to bed. At the moment for me, settling down and unwinding means journaling. I have been doing a 30-day journaling challenge, which I will talk about a little bit more at the end of the video. And it also means turning off my technology, except for music, which I do allow. Also, as a type A personality, one of the things that really gets me excited to wake up the next day is to plan my day. I will sit down and plan what needs to get done, the top 3 priorities for the next day, what my schedule looks like, if I have to leave the house, because working at home I don't always have to. One of the things that I'd like to to add to my nighttime routine, but I haven't yet, is spending 15 to 30 minutes of reading every night. I used to do this every night when I was a kid, and I think education and school sucked the love of reading out of books for me, which is funny because I'm a writer and that's what I do, but I don't read as often as I would like. So I'm hoping to add that to my schedule. It may require a 30-day challenge in order to convince me to be consistent with it. Tip number 4, put your alarm in a different room. For me, that means my phone, and I put my phone in the bathroom because if you're anything like me, sleeping right next to your alarm, right next to your phone is a dangerous thing because it is way too easy to turn off the alarm when you are in your zombie-like state of mind in the morning. For a while, I tried to put my phone across the room in my bedroom, but that didn't work for me because I realized all too quickly that you can say, "Hey Siri, turn off my alarm," and it actually works. I was actually just really concerned my Siri was gonna go off, so I'm kind of glad she didn't. Now for my bonus tip, which goes along with number 4, is to download an app that requires you to do something before you turn off the alarm. For example, I've been using Alarmy for the past 2 years, and it forces you to do certain tasks. For me, I like the memory game, but I think it also has math. It can force you to take a picture of your bathroom sink. There are different things that you can choose, different tasks you can do. I like it because it's another obstacle I have to get through to go back to bed, which makes going back to bed a little more of a hassle, which to me, I need to do. I need to make going to bed after I've turned off my alarm a little bit more of a hassle in order to stay out of bed. This definitely is not sponsored. I like Alarmy. It has some bugs, including the fact that if you exit out of the app, it will not actually go off. So you need to make sure the app is on your screen with the phone turned off before you go to bed. Otherwise, you won't have an alarm in the morning, which is a little concerning. To get around that, I have the Alarmy alarm set 5 minutes before I actually want to wake up, and then I have my phone alarm set. If my Alarmy one doesn't go off, my iPhone one still will. Now, if you have an issue with setting too many alarms and relying on all of them, maybe don't do this and just be good at setting the Alarmy one and making sure it's active on your phone before you go to bed, or try a different app. I like the memory game on Alarmy, and it was free, but I know that there are other apps out there that have a similar sort of wake up system to them, if that makes sense. And my 5th tip is to give yourself grace. You're a human being. You're not perfect, nor will you ever be perfect. Now, I know how disheartening it can be to be really consistent at waking up early for a couple weeks and then you miss your alarm or turn it off and you go back to sleep. But don't quit. One of the most important factors of building a habit is continuing to do it even if you fail. I have failed multiple times since trying to wake up early on this journey, including this morning, which makes filming this video a little ironic. I know that tomorrow when my alarm goes off, I'm going to do whatever is in my power to get up out of bed and start my day. Waking up early, especially if you're naturally a night owl like me, is not an overnight change. I realized that several years ago, but I found that the longer you're consistent, the easier it does become. Out of curiosity, leave down in the comments below whether you are an early morning bird or a night owl and what time you wake up and go to sleep, just to show that nobody's alone in the times that they go to sleep. Like right now, my sister is working a night shift and she goes to bed at like 8 a.m. in the morning and wakes up around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So, you know, can't be stranger than that, can you? Maybe you can, but hey, nobody's gonna judge you here. Building healthy habits requires discipline, and one of the ways that I'm growing in that skill is by doing a 30-day journaling challenge. Click here to check out part 1 of that video. And if you liked, like! Until next time, bye! Building healthy habits is really important, and gosh darn it, okay.